Hey guys, welcome back to the vid. We're gonna be talking about Triple H's 20-year anniversary, and we're gonna rant about it a little bit. Hope you guys enjoy.
All right. Uh, we're coming off the heels of the celebration of the 25th anniversary of Triple H being in the WWE, and Triple H himself is a very controversial figure when it comes to the world of professional wrestling and world wrestling entertainment. For many good reasons and a lot of bad reasons, supposedly, but to a majority of the wrestling community, the supposed bad reasons stick out more than the good, to where everyone still to this day will insist that he's gone and buried talent and whips out his proverbial golden shovel and buries people, blah, 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 blah. And as a 21-year-old who has watched for as long as I can remember, um, Triple H is my favorite. And, it's not a bias thing. It's not a um, just because he's my favorite. It's I am able to see past that to be able to recognize that the accusations of him completely burying everyone he's ever stepped in the ring with, which is the majority of the internet wrestling community's general, so wrong. And, and to his career and sit here and whine and cry and bitch in TV and being supposedly not relevant anymore. Wasting time, taking up people's time that could be on now. Um, the fact of the matter that one of decorate um, professional wrestling itself. The fact of the matter is, a lot of WWE wouldn't be the way it was or is without him. And he is not only a vital piece to today's business, but without him in the past, as I just said, a lot of things would be different and not guaranteed to be better. Um, this all comes back to basically 2002 to 2004 when Triple H was the world champion pretty much all the time. Now, I can definitely understand why that would, upset people. I had the same problems when John Cena was literally the champion every 5 minutes. Uh, I had the same problems when they kept shoving the title on Brock Lesnar. I had the same problem when they tried or kept forking it to Roman. But, um, you know, after sitting on it for as long as I have and looking at it in a broader spectrum of those things, understanding why they went and did these things makes a lot of sense. And back then, in 2002 through 2004, was no other person on that roster that was as over as a heel as Triple H was, and there wouldn't be for a very long time because whether you loved him or hated him, which mind you is the goal of a heel to get you to not like them, um, he was the biggest heel in the company. Um, and he did his job. And if that meant by being champion all the time to make better stars out of it in the end, then so be it. Now, a lot of this speculation on him burying talents and whatnot always goes back to the politicking backstage. But if you really want to be that guy and talk about how Triple H went behind other people's backs and went to Vince and cried about who's going to win this or how somebody shouldn't win, literally everyone ever in the history of professional wrestling ever has done that. Anyone. Any fucking Mount Rushmore guy you want to pick off the fucking list and say they would never do that, Stone Cold literally didn't show up to Raw because he didn't want to lose to Brock Lesnar. The Rock, guarantee you, did not want to lose to people because it wasn't worth it to him or his character. Shawn Michaels used to do that shit all the fucking time. Bret Hart did that shit all the time when it came to Shawn Michaels. Hulk Hogan is like the guy for going back behind people's backs and politicking and getting his way. So if you want to sit there and talk about how Triple H is, uh, I guess what I've seen online is people say a scumbag or whatever the fuck you want to say because he did this. Literally, that was what you did. That's literally what you did in the time period that he was in. Is it right? Not necessarily, but if you wanted to survive in the era that this guy was in, that's what you had to do. If you were a part of the clique, which luckily for him he was, that's what you did. If you were Hulk Hogan, that's what you did. If you were Stone Cold Steve Austin, that's what you did. And the reason why they got away with it is because they were who they were. I guarantee you a guy like Charlie Haas isn't going to get away with fucking politicking backstage.
Charlie Haas.
No disrespect to Charlie Haas. No disrespect. But listen, um, Triple H isn't the only person to ever do that. It's literally been a part of wrestling probably since wrestling was dawn. Wrestling was born. All right? People don't want to lose to ruin their character. And they also might have a better idea of how, in the end, they can make the story play out better to where it works for everybody in said story. Um, Now, with that said, the other argument is that he got with Stephanie, so of course he's going to get all those things. Um, Look, he didn't necessarily have to get all that shit just because he was with Stephanie. What if Vince didn't like him? Vince could have easily said, fuck this guy, I don't care if you're with my daughter or not, you're gone. Or he could have, quotation marks, buried him if he wanted to. So what if Stephanie cries? She doesn't have to have anything to do with the company. Vince could have been like, you know what? I don't want either one of you around. Shit would have been okay, probably. But you know what? Because Triple H was not only marketable, which you can argue with me all you want, he is. I don't care if you're going to sit there and call him boring. Every time his music hit and he came out, he got a reaction, and that's what you want as a professional wrestler, whether you're getting cheered, booed, or whatever. As long as you're getting a reaction, you're fine. If somebody's just getting up to go take a piss because they know that you're coming out, that's not good. But if they're sitting there giving you a reaction, that is good, whether it be good or bad. Triple H is where he is for a reason, being a figure synonymous with World Wrestling Entertainment. And all of you trolls online that sit there and say how, he still gets his way, blah, 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 because Triple H is going to bury the young guy, blah, 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 blah. That tired, dry, lame-ass fucking excuse that you give all the time whenever he's on TV just because you don't like the guy, or more so, you're just going along with what everyone else has ever said about him just because that's the thing to do. Hating on this guy is just a thing you do. And don't worry, I am aware of the certain matches that people will point out and be like, no, but he did bury. Well, I'll get to those in a minute. By the way, speaking of bury, I don't think you people fucking understand what bury means. And for a long time, I never really understood what bury meant either. Especially, I can go recent to when Bray Wyatt lost to Goldberg. I was like, fuck. That might be a
Yeah.
burial, but with a character like that, with a guy that sells that much merch, look what he did. He went and beat John Cena in one of the most uh,
Unique, I guess you want to say,
polarizing,
matches.
yeah, unique, polarizing, yeah, matches that we've ever seen in the history of the business, and Bray Wyatt's just fine. Um, I've been wrong before, and that everybody has, that's a thing. Um, yeah, God forbid
Yeah,
that you internet people
burying
fucking understand that you can be wrong. But
Burying
yeah, I
is
think
when you get
burying is
beat in like less than 5 minutes. You're a mid tier or top guy, and you get beat in less than 5 minutes, and um it kind of dictates the way you book for
ruins
like
your.
the rest of the year or the rest of your career. Honestly,
Yeah, yeah. I look at burying literally like you lose that match and your career is fucked. Like that's how I look at burying because you're not buried if you still go on to have success. You're fine. You're successful. That's
yeah.
not buried.
Didn't I think
Burying is you're fucking done.
the first time I heard that word is like I think it was Sheamus against the Miz. I don't know if it was that Mania or whatever. He like I don't know who it was. I think it was definitely Sheamus versus
Oh,
somebody.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Sheamus, and he
You mean
just
like
kicked him
25
and then
seconds?
pinned him. Yeah, that's the first time I ever heard that word. I believe. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really care for
And
the match, but I didn't want it. I guess I didn't want it to end like that, but I don't know. I didn't.
yeah, and by the way, just saying, guys, Daniel Bryan, probably one of the least buried guys you'll fucking hear of. Just saying, because 2013 and 14 was a fucking thing. Just in case you forgot about it, not buried. Um, so burying, I believe, and I believe that this makes sense if you think of the word logically. Buried means that your career is fucked to the point where you cannot overcome what just happened to you, hence being buried. Now, the people that are complaining use as examples to complain about Triple H are the following of Rob Van Dam. Yes, because Rob Van Dam, who literally every wrestling fan recognizes and knows to this day,
Yeah, he's like the
former
second Van Dam.
WWE champion, former WWE champion, former Intercontinental champion multiple fucking times, other accolades out the ass as well, was buried by Triple H in the mid 2000s. Bullshit. Next one we have Booker T. Now that's the match I can agree with you on, but Booker T went on to win the World Heavyweight title a few years later. So is that really
And
buried, or is that just
people say
a bad
buried.
ending to a
People say
storyline?
buried when they think somebody's supposed to win and they don't. Honestly, too.
Yeah, I know, and that's not what buried means. That's just not getting your way,
I
and you're
just want
sad
people
about
to
it.
know
Now,
that every story doesn't supposed to end the way you want it to end, and WWE is just full of
yeah,
stories. So if you look at it in
right.
that sense, then anyway, go
And
ahead.
do I agree with the general consensus that Booker T should have won that match? Yeah, but you know what? Did his career fucking spiral out of control to where he was forced to wrestling at fucking local gymnasiums and
Fucking
shit,
Booker
making
T's on a
$5 a
crack
day?
pipe.
Yeah, like, dude, do you not understand what the like Booker T literally went on to have one of the most over heel gimmicks of the year when he turned into King Booker, won the fucking King of the Ring, went on to win the world title. Literally everyone hated his fucking guts. And you know what? He was the world champion for a while. Now, I'm pretty sure if you're buried, you don't become a world champion. Yeah, it took a little while since his loss at WrestleMania to do so, but his whole career didn't spiral out of fucking control to where he was wrestling in like fucking places that wish they were Ring of Honor. Now, the third person on my list is Taz. Um, Taz was a big fish in a little pond in ECW. But when he made the jump to WWE, he was like a less than average sized fish in the fucking Atlantic Ocean. All right.
Hmm.
Um, don't get me wrong. Taz was great, talented as you see, had all the makings to be a good mid Carter. But if you really go back and look at it, was Taz going to change? Was Taz going to face statement? Was Taz going to be the next revolution of fucking wrestling? No. Taz would end up going to commentate SmackDown. And that's because they liked the guy and wanted to keep him around. Taz wasn't going to change the world in ring just because you liked him in ECW. Taz didn't translate over to WWF at the time to be a top guy. Yes, he got a very good reaction when he debuted. That's great. But people aren't buying tickets and selling out fucking arenas to see Taz.
At that time, it wasn't a lot of people his size that were badasses either.
Right.
And if they
But
was, they
also
was in
that
a
was
stable.
around a time.
A stable.
Yeah, and also around that time, people that size weren't really being pushed to the moon like they are now either.
Yeah.
People that size were where he was in the mid card.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't big like, the Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Triple H, guys like that, you weren't really going to go that far. Now, is that right? Not necessarily, but that's just how the times were. People want to go and say that Triple H buried Taz because he beat him in the champion versus championship match on that SmackDown. Do you really think Vince McMahon was going to have a guy that was on the outside of his company come in and beat his world champion? Fuck no. You really think that makes sense? I know Vince didn't hate ECW like he hated WCW. I know him and ECW still had ties and shit, and they were helping each other out and whatnot. But do you really think Vince was going to be like, yeah, all right, this dude who's like 5'8" is a champion of a company that's significantly lesser than mine, is going to come in and beat Triple H? Fuck no. Now, I understand that I may be making Triple H sound a little, whatever, a little more than he may be. But I'm not sitting here and telling you that he's the greatest of all time. I'm just wanting you to look at it from a logical standpoint, put your love and bias behind, and look at shit the way it's supposed to be looked at. Because if you like it or not, guys like Taz weren't going to get over as the guy at that time period. So him losing to Triple H, him as the ECW champion, coming in and losing to the WWF champion was plausible. And if I got that wrong and Triple H wasn't the WWF champion, he was in the title picture. And they were two very different animals, ECW and WWE. And that was proven when they tried to revive it, but that's a story for another time. Listen, Rob, I'm going to go through these. And damn. Supposedly because he lost the Triple H. That would go on to win several Intercontinental Championships. And sell a shit ton to get over. CW was relaunched. The W show only to fuck up the title reign himself when him and Sabu got caught with fucking pot and other shit. But yeah, he got buried by Triple H. Yep, buried. Career ruined, right? Yep. Booker T went on to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Had one of the best heel title runs of that time. Buried. And Taz. Commentary on SmackDown until he went to TNA. Whatever. Another one you guys want to argue is CM Punk when Triple H beat him at Night of Champions back in 2011. Did Triple H need to win that match? No. But did it bury CM Punk? Did it ruin CM Punk? Fucking no! Did you not watch the next 2 years? CM Punk literally went on to have the longest WWE title reign in the fucking company at that time. All the way up until, Brock, his last few years?
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to go have a match with the fucking Undertaker at Wrestlemania. Now, whether the reports are that CM Punk didn't want to have that match or not, whatever, a WrestleMania match with the fucking Undertaker is as high profile as you can get without being in the main event. So whether you like it or not, CM Punk was not fucking buried. Uh, Look, man, people want to sit there and say that there's so many talents that Triple H has buried. Have you not seen his win-loss record at WrestleMania? Are you unaware of the people that he's put over at WrestleMania? Just in case you were wondering, I have it here, because apparently all of you like to forget that. Alright, so let's go back to his first WrestleMania match. Okay? Lost. He lost to one of the top guys in wrestling at that time, one of the biggest names of all time from that era, the Ultimate Warrior. Alright? Then he beat Goldust. Oh, God forbid he beat Goldust. Then he beat Owen Hart. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And then he lost to Kane, who was a big, hulking, fucking red machine monster. And what did Triple H do? Made him look like a big fucking monster. Lost. Right? Right. And then he lost to The Undertaker. Right? The first time. Good match, but The Undertaker over and the streak continued. Right? Right. Then what? He went and beat Chris Jericho when he was literally over as shit as the babyface of 2002. Oh yeah, God forbid that he did the babyface job and fucking beat the heel. Right? When he came back from tearing his quad, when the roof fucking exploded off the building, when he came back from tearing his quad. He was the babyface of that year, whether you like it or not. Because of that shit and the reaction that you gave him when he walked back in the door, he got that match. I don't want to hear any of this because he's banging Stephanie or whatever the fuck you want to say. I don't give a fuck. Alright? Could have said this shit and it would have applied to Shane McMahon, who's Vince's own fucking flesh and more sense. Doesn't have because he's with Stephanie. Doesn't have to do shit. He obviously decided to go forward with Triple H for a fucking reason. And obviously Triple H likes Vince likes didn't Triple H dick. Next. Triple H would lose to Chris Benoit in a triple threat middle of the ring to put over Benoit, who would then have one of the most infamous ends of a WrestleMania ever when he celebrated in the ring with fucking Eddie Guerrero. Right? And then what did he do? He lost to Batista. He put over fucking Made. If it wasn't for Triple H, there would be no Batista. If it wasn't for Triple H to argue that there wouldn't be Randy Orton, we'll get to him in a minute. There wouldn't be Evolution. Those guys wouldn't have gotten the fucking jump that they got from the beginning. He made Batista and put him over at WrestleMania 21. You're welcome. Russ tapped out in the middle of the ring to John Cena. Whether you like John Cena or not, at the time, that was the guy the company was going with. So what do? You give the other best guy you got to make him look like $1 million. And what did Triple H do? He made John Cena look like $1 million fucking bucks. How many pedigrees did he hit on John Cena in that match? Not a fucking single one. Tapped out clean in the middle of the ring to John Cena. Then he got hurt, didn't wrestle at WrestleMania 23, came back at WrestleMania 24, and lost to Randy Orton in a triple threat match between him and Cena and Orton. Didn't get the pin, didn't take the pin, but he still lost the match. Right? Then the next year, his feud with Randy Orton continued. He won. Okay? And then he beat Sheamus because Sheamus fucking attacked him with a lead pipe and beat the fucking shit out of him one night on Raw. So he got his heat back, just so happened
Yeah,
to be at
Sheamus.
WrestleMania. Yeah, and did Sheamus's career fucking enter a dwindling spiral into fucking nothingness? No. He also went on to win the WWE Championship after that, and many other titles, such as tag team titles and mid-card titles. So fuck off. Next, he lost to The Undertaker twice in a row, prolonging the streak that all of you fucking love and only bitch about because Brock Lesnar beat him, right? Right?
Hmm.
We forgetting about that? We forgetting about that fucking streak of really good WrestleMania matches that Undertaker had? Two of those had to also be who? Guess who? Yep, Triple H. And then what? Triple H put over Daniel Bryan. And then what? He put over Roman Reigns. Controversial at the time because not a lot of people liked Roman Reigns, but still put over a young guy on the biggest fucking stage of them all. And then he put over Seth Rollins. And then he put over fucking Ronda Rousey. Do you late 90s anybody would have wanted to put over a woman at WrestleMania? Name was
The late '90s or the early 2000s too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, maybe the mid
no,
2000s.
right? Triple H willingly made Ronda Rousey look like $1 million fucking bucks. Whether you trolls like Ronda Rousey or not, many of you don't for reasons that I don't fucking understand, but we'll get to that in another video. Well, I've hinted at a lot of other videos in this, haven't I? Anyway,
Yeah, I guess.
Triple H is 10-13 at WrestleMania. If you want to sit here and tell me that he doesn't pull over and he people are you talking? There's literally a person on this list that their career has got of a lot gold from the time he Hart, legend, former champion. What is he like? A European champion, was an Intercontinental champion a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Fucking beat his own brother Bret Hart at WrestleMania. Yeah, I think Owen Hart did pretty fine for himself. Chris Jericho, literally the guy with the most Intercontinental Championship reigns.
Yeah, the
He
longest
was
AEW
literally
champion so far. Oh man.
yeah. Uh literally went on to be world heavyweight champion in big main event matches. It's Chris fucking Jericho. He was fine.
A marshmallow with hair.
All right. At WrestleMania 2000, he beat Foley, Rock, and Big Show. At that time, Triple H was literally the biggest heel in the company. That's just what happens sometimes. The heel wins a match. That's what's going to happen. Him beating Randy Orton got his heat back. I mean, it's not like Randy fucking kicked Stephanie and Vince in the fucking head, right? Yeah. Anyway, Sheamus attacked Triple H with a lead fucking pipe. Who'd you think was going to win there? Brock Lesnar broke his arm at SummerSlam. Put Brock over at SummerSlam, by the way. Let him, storyline, break his fucking arm. Okay? Alright, just letting you know. Got his heat back at WrestleMania. So what? Look what happened to Brock Lesnar. Did Brock Lesnar get buried? Did Brock Lesnar get ruined? No, because he's been fucking champion every year since then. So fuck you. Next, Sting. Sting was almost 60. How much did you really want him to do? Yeah, maybe Triple H shouldn't have won that match, but you know what? Whatever. Sting is an old man now. And you know what, Sting? Love you. Don't come back.
Eh.
Batista. Batista wanted to go out on his back as a thank you for Triple H literally making him all the way back at WrestleMania 21. And then the Booker T match, which is synonymous. Yeah, whatever. Wrong
Mm-hmm.
guy probably did win that match. But again, Booker T's career was no means ruined. He was world champion then. He went to TNA when TNA was actually still a respectable place to go. Was dominant there. Was over there. One of the biggest people there while it was still good to be in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Booker T is now back and just fine. I don't understand you people.
It's fake
You don't have
outrage.
to
They
like the
they
guy.
have to. They just have to like be mad at something. They have to.
You don't have to like him. And that's fine. But to literally sit there and get up in arms over it all the time and point out the same tired bullshit that I just debunked for the last fucking 20 minutes. Grow up, find some new fucking material. Because the fact of the matter is, Triple H is synonymous with WWE then and now, and he always will be. Because of what he did in the Attitude Era in the early 2000s, all the way through up until now. He never really took a break unless he got injured. And that didn't happen very much. His only two big injuries just happened to be bad ones. Other than that, you can't really say he was really hurt. He was always there. Triple H was one of the biggest heels of the Attitude Era, arguably the biggest. One of the biggest, if not the biggest heels in the Ruthless Aggression era. Synonymous with the company. One of the biggest names that you will ever know from WWE. And now he is NXT. And now he is corporate. He is a part of the company. And apparently, as everything is signing towards, he's the heir to Vince,
Mm-hmm.
right? And some people may say it's fucked up that it's not going to be Shane because it's his own flesh and blood. What if Shane doesn't want it? You don't know. You don't know shit. You just sit there and go, Triple H politicked his way to getting the company ripped out of Shane's hands and he's blood. What
Yeah.
if that's just not what Shane wants to do? Yeah, Shane probably does love WWE considering all the crazy fucking shit that he's done over the past 30 years or 20 years or whatever the fuck. That kid's almost killed himself 80 times for the company. That's
Mm-hmm.
respectable. But what if he doesn't want to have all that pressure and shit on his shoulders? What if he doesn't want to do that? You know? What if
Yeah.
that's just not something he wants to do? You don't know that. What if that's not something Stephanie wants to do by herself? You don't know that. When Vince ever steps away or unfortunately passes away, the company is going into the responsible hands of Stephanie and Triple H. And now, a good majority of you people are clamoring on Twitter for Vince to hand over the reins to him now. So make up your fucking mind. I want you guys to sit there and make up your mind because you people that sit there and say that he's buried talent and he's a golden shovel and he's selfish and always puts himself in the spotlight are the same people that want him to take over the company from Vince McMahon and say that Vince McMahon's fucking out of touch, and then you sit there and shit on Vince for 25 minutes till your thumbs bleed, and then your mom yells at you for making too much fucking noise in the basement.
People say NXT is one of the. I don't think it's arguable that NXT is one of the best brands. I mean, they have already have NXT UK. They're coming out with Japan and Canada too. So I think it would be good in good hands if uh, Vince steps down, like goes to the XFL or passes away or anything. I think it'd be good hands. I'm not. I'm not like some of these other people like shits on WWE no matter what and hates WWE no matter what. It just, I mean, I think WWE's gonna be in good hands no matter who runs the business. Honestly, they have a lot of old school guys who knows the business. I mean, Bruce Pitcher
Yeah.
or Jim Cornette or anybody. I mean, Jim Cornette is I mean, yeah, but he knows his stuff. But Paul
Yeah, he may
Heyman, it's
be
a lot of
cuckoo for
people.
Cocoa Puffs, but he knows what he's talking about. Yeah.
Even
Paul
Bischoff knows his
Heyman, one
stuff.
of the yeah, Bischoff, Heyman, Cornette, Bruce Pritchard,
Yeah,
uh,
tons of guys.
fucking anybody, fucking anybody that want The Rock. If
Yeah,
for some reason he wanted to not do Hollywood anymore, he can come and be a producer or something. He's got a brain to pick. Heyman's got a brain to pick. I'm sure anybody, like, they even had producers now that they have guys like fucking Finley and Shane Helms
hmm
and other guys in the back that, obviously used to be guys, but now they work in the back because they have a brain and knowledge for the fucking business.
yeah,
They know what they're
fucking
doing.
Regal. Yeah, a bunch of people.
Regal, yeah. And listen, too, that's another thing. Yeah, Vince did technically have a bunch of matches or whatever. But going forward, what better to put it in the hands of a guy that's been literally doing this shit physically in the ring and outside of the ring, creatively and physically for the last 25 fucking years.
I mean, I
Triple H is
don't.
like the perfect guy.
Yeah, and he's part of the family, so you can't.
And then you sick fucks will sit there and be like, "Oh, he weaseled his way into the family." Blah blah blah. You don't know that. They're
He
still
doesn't.
together.
He didn't need to weasel his
They
way in
could
the
have
family.
gotten,
He's a Hall of Famer without
yeah.
Stephanie.
And you act like he's only there because of that. Like, they could have gotten fucking split up by now. They don't have to be together, but apparently they still love each other, and it's not bullshit.
Yeah.
Apparently they actually do have a family and they care for one another, and it's real. It's not just some fucking sick ploy to get reins of a company like you people make it seem like it is on fucking Twitter and shit. He only did that so he can get into Stephanie's pants and get control and do whatever he wants. Yeah, because, if they didn't figure that, they definitely wouldn't have fired his ass or some shit. They definitely wouldn't have gotten split up by now if it
Yeah, I
was
mean,
just to get
if
fucking
it was that
power.
obvious, why wouldn't fucking Trish Stratus somebody a random name fucking marry Shane McMahon or somebody or any random girl in the
Yeah,
'90s or two? Like if it's that easy.
exactly. It's not like it was a ploy all along to get himself fucking get his ego stroked.
Yeah, and when you own top, you have to perform. He clearly has performed with NXT. People say it's one of the
Yeah,
better forms of wrestling out today.
yeah. Every time there's a takeover, all you do is sit there on Twitter and tweet about how much better it is than whatever the fuck WWE's doing that weekend. Anyway, and you know who's doing that show? The guy you shit on every other chance you fucking get.
And honestly,
So
who
the
was gonna
point of
say
this is second guess yourself when you say dumb shit.
that? Listen, man, they're not. Like,
You're not.
they're pieces of shit, man. Honestly.
Oh, I don't listen to this shit. But listen, it was going to be a Hall of Famer regardless
Yeah.
of the business decisions made, of the attitude era as Stone Cold, as The Undertaker. Okay, Mick Foley, like those five made that era.
Uh huh.
And if you're gonna sit there and tell me that Triple H is overrated, how is he overrated? I think he's right where he should be. Look at the guy too, from a fucking uh aspect of just having a look. Does he not look like somebody that you take seriously? Does he not look like somebody that looks like he could legitimately be a champion? He looks like it. He acts like it. He has the fucking resume of it because of those things. It's not like they just strap the fucking title onto some doofus that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, you
He
guys are the
has
same people
he
who
has every making.
says, you guys are the same people who says, and it's actually people who think this. Daniel Bryan is not good. Fucking Ricochet is not good. Bianca Belair is not good. Like you guys are the same people. Like you guys are grouped. Even if you guys don't say that, you guys are grouped in those people. Like you guys who just spit negative shit on the internet just because you have a login. It's stupid as shit.
I think I don't know, man. If you can sit there and point out somebody that had their career completely derailed by taking a loss to Triple H, then by all means, pull it up, show it to me, and we'll talk about it. I have no problem with that. But just blindly sitting there and saying that he's got the golden shovel just because it's the thing to do without any fucking knowledge of what the fuck you're talking about, try again. I don't have much more to say. If you want
Uh,
to wrap this up, you can wrap it up. This has been The Vent. Fucking subscribe, comment, do whatever you're gonna do. I don't give a shit. We're we're representing the 25th year anniversary of one of the GOATs in WWE. So the
uh,
game has been played, and I'm out.
yeah, and like always, guys, see you guys later and go fuck yourself.